Hello and welcome, Tiger fans, to the 170th episode of Talking Tigers. Can you believe that? We have a huge show for you today on the back of the PM's visit to Punt Road. Yes, Malcolm Turnbull was here yesterday. We'll have a chat about that. Oh boy, there was some monster egos on display out there on Punt Road. Our boy Shaun Grigg is back today and he will give us some insight into the win over the Blues on Sunday. And he's also going to bring a couple of segments of his own. Lou is here also to cover the big VFL win against the Northern Blues and Greeners. He's going to try and install some sort of interest into the slowly dying top 10 segment. And of course, we'll have a look at Dusty's form. Greeners, you think he's a really big Brownlow medal chance. So do I. Boys, welcome. What a song that is too, JB.
Yeah, you're right.
What is it?
Well, last week was Metallica for you.
Yeah, no, what's this week?
You've lost control of the songs.
I have. I've got to get control back.
They're a bit more modern. This
I need to get it back.
Probably about 25 years old, that song.
Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Interstate Love Song.
And of
I'll
course,
take your word for it.
And what? Do you get the little
What?
link? Interstate Love Song. We're heading interstate this Saturday
yeah,
to play
good one.
Port Adelaide.
Nice.
So that'll be good. Get involved with the show today. Hashtag Talking Tigers, or if you want to stump Greeners, hashtag Stump Greeners. Send them in. Send them in. What do you think, What
do I think?
Yeah. Just what do you think about life? And everything.
Life's good at the moment. When the Tigers win, life is always very, very, very good indeed. But there was something that just...
What?
Well, I don't want to...
Surely you're happy we beat Carlton.
I'm always happy, and I'm always happy in a season where we're unbeaten against Carlton, Collingwood, and Essendon. So that's great, terrific. But and it's last Tuesday was the Australian Football Hall of Fame.
In Adelaide.
It's a great night. It's a brilliant night.
Malcolm Blight deserved to be a legend.
100%. I'm not having a go at anyone that got inducted and congratulate them all, but just find it hard to believe that one of our own is not in. I'm not talking about Shaun Grigg or Brett Deledia. How the great Dick Clay is not in the Australian Football Hall of Fame. We're talking about a 4-time premiership player.
Is it because he's been out of it too long?
Well,
now,
that shouldn't. Well, Ron Todd got in. With all due respect. He played 2 as a wingman, a gun wingman in 67-69, and then in 1973-74 became a fullback, became one of the best fullbacks in the comp. So I just find it hard. I think he should be in, and was a star. Played over 200 games over a decade.
What's your feedback as to why he's not in?
I don't know feedback. No, and I know that the club's pushed for him and that. So anyway, look, I know you can't get them all in at once, but I just think he should be in. Anyway,
he probably should. I'll tell you one bloke who will be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Who's that?
In my Hall of Fame at the moment.
Hey? Dustin Martin. He continued another 10 coaches' votes.
Yeah, so he's taken the lead in the coaches' votes. One from Danger. He's one ahead of Danger. I reckon he's got 20 plus Brownlow votes already.
8 wins.
With 9 games to go. Yeah. 20 plus. So I think he's a massive chance. He's just his ability, and look, he probably wasn't in his absolute best form, but he's so influential again in the win. No doubt about that.
I think there was a stat about him getting unanimous coaches' votes for the 11th time over the last 3 years.
Is that right? Yeah.
That's more than anyone.
About 3 more than the next best.
He's got 5 this year.
Yeah.
5 this year.
I reckon. I know that he's a strong Brownlow medal chance. I still think Paddy Dangerfield would be right there again for another one.
It's the two of them. The two of them have cleared out, I think, no doubt. But,
he was influential in that last quarter, wasn't he?
Oh, some of the things he did, Yeah, that passage of play where he fended off about 8 opponents.
You can't tackle him.
Yeah.
No.
The dancing feet that got Jones and Kate Simpson over the boundary line as well. And we send happy birthday to Dusty for yesterday.
What was he, 26?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
26.
Right in his peak.
Just in his prime now.
Don't the fans just love it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just got to get him.
I hope he had some birthday cake today.
Yeah.
Hey, the other bloke who's in good nick, and I reckon is just going under the radar slightly, is Jack Riewoldt.
Yeah,
You've got a good stat about his form.
I think he's the only player in the comp apparently that's kicked multiple goals in his last 10 games of footy. So that's obviously a sign of his consistency. I think he's only about 4 or 5 off the lead in the Coleman, and just the role that he's playing because he's the only tall forward in our forward line, and his leadership role with those younger, smaller forwards, and you can see how much that he is genuinely enjoying playing with those young players and the role that he has in sort of mentoring them, I suppose, and he's still hitting the scoreboard as well. So he's going really well. So it was a critical goal he kicked. I mean, I know we missed a lot on Sunday, 11-18. But that shot that he had...
You texted me after the game, Tone, and you said it was windy. It wasn't windy at all.
No, I was watching from... I was windy in Ormond, where I was watching from.
The MCG's not in Ormond.
No, I realise that.
I didn't know what you were talking about when you did that.
But that's fast becoming his spot.
What, Ormond?
Well, no. I don't know, I'd have to ask him, but that area of the city end around the 50-metre arc in front of the members' stand is kick about 3 really important goals in that spot this year.
He doesn't look like missing.
Well, BT said that he had quite a few shots from there pre-game and he'd missed every one, but he obviously rectified it, don't know,
Well, a couple of the players who are benefiting from Jack's leadership down there are Jason Castagna and Dan Butler.
Yep.
And, I mean, George on any other day could have had 4 goals like he did at the Gabba.
He missed an opportunity.
He's lively, isn't he? He's really lively.
I liked what they did early in the game with Jack getting up the ground. That they clearly didn't want Liam Jones to go with Jack up the ground. And there was a mismatch with George on Liam. Liam Jones is quick, but Georgie had him on the lead, didn't he?
Really quick, you know. Yeah. If he can just polish up that, his set shot kicking, I mean... still an interesting stat, and we might have mentioned this a few weeks ago, but do an update, that he has kicked the second most goals among those young players that are rising star contenders. Only Eric Hipwood of Brisbane's, I think, 3 ahead of him. So Georgie's kicked 15 from 13 games, and equal third is Dan Butler with 13 from 11 games. So
and
Dan well, and the pressure.
And Dan finished the game off well, but his pressure was still elite, JB. I think you said he had 7 tackles.
Yeah, I think so.
Most of anyone.
Yeah, so, I mean, the game probably wasn't his best to three-quarter time, but in the last quarter he stood up with those 2 goals when needed in a tight game. So
Definitely.
It was a very important role.
The defence was solid again. Dave Asprey's, he's
really good. And Rancy, I mean, just,
They're both top 5 AFL for intercept possessions.
Yeah.
Rancy's 1 and Asprey's 4 or 5. So,
and that is a really key stat, isn't it?
Mate, it's
to win the ball back like that.
And to have 2 key defenders do it in the top 5, that's pretty good.
And I think we're big on stats already so far in the show, but I think the man who's going under the radar is Dylan Grimes as well. I don't think he's conceded a goal to his direct opponent in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
we might have Robbie Gray this week.
Yeah, that's true. Look, and I'll ask Grigg this later too. But I think the form...
Grigg, is he going to bring in some spuds today?
Oh, hopefully. I'm starving, absolutely starving. But I think Jaden Short too. His run and composure out of the back line, I think, was really important on Sunday. So it's good, some good signs there.
Yeah, it was. Have you got a rundown or not?
Yeah, no. Well, there's some mention. You mentioned this to me, and I saw it. I saw it as well. Kane Corns.
Before you get into this.
I know. I've lost my rundown again.
Why
Every
do
week, I don't know.
Scones is
I put it in my pocket. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, what about Kane Corns?
Well, Kane Corns has gone with an article today, right? Today, about this huge rivalry between Port Adelaide and Richmond that stems back to a practice match 20 years ago. You would have played in that practice match.
I don't remember.
Well, where's it come from?
It must be a bigger deal over there in Adelaide.
I wouldn't have thought that there's a great... I mean,
all due respect to Cornsey, because he's a great bloke and a colleague now in the media, but I'm not sure what he's talking about.
If it's a rivalry, I think it's a one-way rivalry.
Something about Darryl Poole. We were upset with Darryl Poole, and I can't remember it, to be honest.
I know, I'm not sure whether than the Chappie thing where Chappie, kicked the goal against him a few years ago and Eddie had, and that might have... I'm not sure. But I don't think, with all due respect, that... and we certainly respect them as a rival. It's going to be a huge game on Saturday night, but I wouldn't think that we were fierce rivals.
No.
Anyway, but not traditional rivals.
Not traditional.
Maybe there's more of it. It's developing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah. But as a Richmond supporter, I would be happy in a year where you beat Carlton, Collingwood and Essendon.
Yep, not
pretty like this year.
I think so.
Be pretty happy if we beat Port in Adelaide.
Be delighted. Absolutely delighted.
Will we have Basher Hawley? Will Basher be out there?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
I'm not sure.
He's up at the tribunal tonight from about 5:30, I think. So
No,
it wouldn't be any more than 2, would it? He didn't mean to do it.
Oh, no, he didn't mean to do it. No, of course he didn't mean to do it. I mean, he's the player that you'd least likely see do something like that on the field. But it just happens, doesn't it? Those things just do happen.
He's been good. He was good on the weekend again, Basher.
He's very good. He's very important, obviously, with his run and carry and the metres gained. So, he's an important part. So he will be missed, no doubt about that.
He will.
No doubt.
You've got mail.
Jeez, Scones is really crisp today.
He is.
He loves this new setup we've got where we're sitting. It's not good, you people listening, but
they'll see it later.
They saw it last week.
And they'll see it again later.
We are sitting
Didn't they give some feedback?
We're sitting at the boardroom table where GR used to get things done.
Really?
The tiger skin.
Well, there's a trap door under your chair there.
When I watched the video, it looked like you were from some other location, very sunny and very crisp. Not so much me.
No, your mates weren't very complimentary of you, JB, were they?
Did we get any
mates like that? Who needs enemies? We did from Nathan Selwood, call himself the Mayor of Christchurch. He's written in
New Zealand.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Well, where's the other one?
I don't know. There might be another one somewhere.
Right, fair enough.
Go on. Gentlemen and greeners. Whilst I don't think we played our best in the win over Carlton, it's great to get the win nonetheless. I wondered if there's any merit in giving one of our small forwards a week off each over the coming month to purely rest them, considering the output we've obtained from them so far.
Yeah.
Thought Dan Butler rebounded well from his short time off, and now with Stengel on the senior list, I've added that in.
Yeah.
Do we see any value in maybe giving one of them a week off?
It's not a bad question.
Yeah.
We have promoted Stengel, so be good to get a look at him maybe.
Well,
and Dan Butler did get the Rising Star nomination after having that little bit of time off.
That's true. Maybe.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of merit in that. No, I think that may happen because the workload on those guys is huge with the pressure that they're putting on.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a good email.
Well, thanks for that, Nathan.
From Christchurch from New Zealand.
Yeah, we've got to stump greeners here.
I haven't been going very well with these.
No,
I haven't been giving a lot of thought, to be honest.
I haven't got an answer for this one yet, but he might be floating around.
Could go with anything.
May I submit a question to stump greeners?
Yeah.
Can Tony tell us who was the first senior Richmond player to kick 10 goals in a game at the MCG? And that's cheers, Rhett Bartlett.
Oh.
So if Rhett's floating around.
Rhett wants a TTT, does he?
He does, clearly.
So.
Yeah.
Do you know that one?
It's going to go back a while.
Think about it.
Yeah, right. I'll have a think.
Give it.
I'll have a think.
Geez,
Okay.
Rhett. Maybe it should be Stump Rhett.
Yeah, Roland's not very well today, is he?
Oh, he sounds crook,
Yeah,
Roland.
no, he's not well at all. We wish him all the very best. Yeah.
We'll get through some tweets very quickly.
Too, actually. That red eye got. No,
look crook.
That red eye got me.
Oh, yeah, it did. I saw you on Sunday.
And the political.
You're looking pretty good, actually.
The PC police got you too.
Lynn.
We won't go.
We won't go there.
Tiger Lynn says she likes Shaun Grigg on Talking Tiger. Seems to have filled Lids' shoes very well.
Yeah.
Love the story about Lids taking his top off up at GWS.
I think he gives a bit more than Lids used to, didn't he?
I think he's got a couple of segments.
Well, I think
Lids, later.
with Lids, it was all a little bit about him a lot of the time, wasn't it?
Usually it's about you, so that
Yeah, I hated that. I hated that.
Yeah. Brendan Fisher is giving us an update on his travels around. Last week he was at the Guggenheim.
Where is he?
This week he's at Salve Regina University in lovely Newport, Rhode Island. So just sounds like a nice
That
trip
is a
over there.
great part of the world up there, Rhode Island.
They just lost the America's Cup too. The Kiwis did them.
B-Dub75 has written in, seeing whether we spotted Paul Broderick's leather tie.
Gee, Pokey.
You did say that for his wife to look after him. And
You would have thought
dress him
Charlene would have gone out and bought him a new suit for the homecoming hero. No. He had his club issue suit on from 1993, 94. Come on, brothers.
Benny Cashin wants to know whether we can increase the price of membership. Will that help keep Dusty here? Don't know if that works like that.
I'm not sure that it works like that. Yeah,
I think Carl might have ruined that for
I think you're
everybody.
Right there. True.
Matthew Kenobi wants to talk about how valuable Connor Menadue is to the side at the moment.
Yeah, I want to bring that up with Grigger too, but he's just his running carry.
Are you going to ask Griggy?
I will, yeah.
A lot of people wanting to talk about the goal kicking, so we might put that to Griggy when he's in a bit later.
Yeah.
I thought this yesterday morning. I was getting ready for work. The tale's written in. Is it that time of year where it's Big Boy Month?
Yeah, it is.
Ahead.
Big Boy Month, is it?
Big games ahead.
Big Boy?
It is that time of year.
What, Big Boy McAvoy Month?
Big Boy Month.
Big Boy.
This is where you...
stand up.
This is where you really stamp your authority.
This is where you stand up and...
Yeah.
Right.
Brock Solid wanted to know whether you were meaningfully putting the Moz on Sam Doherty as he was lining up for goal in the last quarter. There, Richo.
I would have put a lot of money on Doherty to kick the goal.
Were you worried at any stage during your commentary? Because I know you were very nervous having to call with Tim Lane. I know, but were you reasonably confident?
I felt that we had it under control all day.
Yeah, true.
Linda at LJ Cupcake 78. It's a new one. It's good. Couldn't quite get out of the frame. Could he? Is what she's written in, and she's attached a picture.
Chief.
Well,
it's from yesterday.
Who else?
This is a good.
Who else?
This is a good lead in then.
I think so.
Yeah,
we've got to go with it.
Yeah. Now, Linda Linda Cupcake, was it?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, Linda Cupcake.
Well, that was her name, that Linda Cupcake.
Oh.
She's got a photo there on the tweet, #TalkingTigers, and it is the shot of Gil and Basher announcing the funding for the Basher Hawley Academy yesterday, which was great news. Basher's getting some extra funding, and he's now being able to bring in women and some young girls into the academy.
Yeah,
is
tremendous.
that right?
Tremendous, yep.
Beautiful. So that was all happening here yesterday. Now, it started off with Malcolm Turnbull arriving with Gil McLaughlin. And, of course, Brendan Gale, as soon as he knew that they were in the vicinity, he started wobbling around.
Yep.
Now, this stems back to Dreamtime at the G, where Brendan had the selfie with Malcolm Turnbull because he was jealous that Gil had been talking to Malcolm in the lunch.
Yep.
Well, we can shed a little bit of light on this yesterday, that Malcolm, when speaking yesterday, only mentioned one chief. There were two chiefs here, the chief of Richmond and the chief of the AFL.
Who did he mention?
No mention for our boy Brendan.
Oh, no.
He only mentioned Chief Gil
this
McLaughlin.
was held in our house too.
Yeah, and it was down here. So Brendan really didn't feel part of it yesterday. Now, if you see that photo, Brendan is trying to get himself into the frame in the back of the photo. He wasn't even asked to be in the official photo. So there's a real war going on.
You know what this means? This does not bode well for the Prime Minister, because he might have the numbers, our chief. Well, he may have the numbers to challenge and topple him and become the next Prime Minister of Australia.
Well, I think yesterday proved one and for all that Malcolm Turnbull rates Gil McLaughlin, but he doesn't rate Brendan. The jostling,
he needs to be careful with that.
The jostling for position
man, our chief.
in the photo, when they walked in, they were flanking Malcolm, and Malcolm didn't give Brendan anything at all. So,
no, watch this space.
There's a bit going on.
There could be some repercussions from this.
There's a bit going on. So he was pretty flat yesterday. He was happy with the funding for the Basher Hawley Foundation.
Yeah, but his
Academy,
ego wasn't
but
happy.
His bruised ego took another hit yesterday.
Well, Prime Minister Gale, it's got a ring to it, hasn't it? It's got a certain ring to it.
Well,
you never know.
You never know. Do I have some club news? The Jack Dye Medal Night is now on sale Monday.
Wow, geez, that comes around quickly, doesn't it?
Sure does. It's going to be a tight race, you would think.
No, Dusty Boy Street. Yeah, but anyway.
Rancy.
No, Rancy, of course. Rancy. And there's many. Grigger, our TT's own Grigger.
And if for nothing else, it's a great
skipper.
night out. So that's
night.
Monday, October 2 at the Crown Palladium.
Celebrating a premiership.
Just
kidding. Are you kidding? Just you never know.
You never know. No. It'll be a couple of days later. For all the information and to book, richmondcorporate.com.au. There is an early bird special currently on, which runs out Friday, July 14.
So Monday, October the 2nd is the best and fairest.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good.
So, lock that in the diary. Just a reminder this week when we do go to Port Adelaide, the game is on Fox Sports. So, make sure you tune into that.
Yep, I will.
Not on free-to-air, not on 7.
I don't think so, not into Melbourne.
You should know that. What game are you doing on Saturday night?
I'm doing the Cats and GWS.
Well, you should know that it's not on 7 then.
I just remembered then.
There's not many tickets left for the game, so if you are going over there, book in early on ticketek.com.au. Open training, we'll be holding open training at Adelaide Oval on Friday from 4 p.m. And finally, if you are in Melbourne this weekend, the Richmond VFL side are in action against Essendon at Windy Hill, also on Channel 7.
Well, Lou will talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure we don't
pump up as well.
We'll have to ask Lou just to confirm that, because you might have the wrong information.
Did you any news on India? What's going on with India?
It's a big country.
Are we going to play there?
I'm not too sure. I actually missed that one on when was it? Saturday morning.
For premiership points against GWS, apparently.
That'd be good.
Their home game.
Starting for next year.
Yeah.
Well, it's a chance.
It's a chance.
We should go over. We could do an OB. Imagine that.
Oh, gee.
Hey? I'm not sure. I don't want to get Delhi Belly or anything, but yeah.
All right.
Anyway, that'd be huge.
Is that it?
Injury.
Did you want me to... I've got that little bit of club news. We've got to wait.
I don't think so, because we've got the injury latest.
Okay.
Is this hot off the press?
Hot off the press, straight in my hand from Burgee. But by the time you listen to it back, you've probably seen it already. But you would have seen in the extended squad, Ben Lennon was named for the Carlton game, but was a late out on Saturday. He's got a hamstring strain at training, and he'll be out for 1 to 2 weeks.
Just the wrong time for him. Well, he was named in the squad, wasn't he, initially?
And then Steve Morris did a hamstring in the VFL game, and he'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks.
No, that's not good.
And then no one else is really on the injury list pushing this week. Callum Moore's a week away, Todd Alton with ankle and shoulder respectively.
Can I ask, do we know where Hammer is? Is Hammer any chance this year?
Not too sure. That Hammer, Griffo and Reece Conker are all still indefinite.
Okay.
So it's
I saw Reece
touch and go at the moment.
Just saw Reece upstairs, still got the boot on.
Still got the moon boot on. And as Lepper said on the radio last week, that Griff is doing some body work, but nothing, related to knocks to the head. Yeah. So it's still touch and go with Griff, but that's for the medical team.
I'm flat for Ben Lennon because he was in good form.
Yeah, he was. What's wrong, mate?
The hands push in the back. It's a sore point with me.
Oh, it's a sore point with you going back 20 years?
Yeah, it is.
10 years? 10 years, sorry.
I don't know what was happening on the weekend when David Asprey was pushed in the back by Levi Casbolt. The umpire was 2 metres away. He had 2 hands in his back.
It wasn't all that subtle, was it?
Like, if that had been another close game we lost...
Oh, imagine.
Fair dinkum. How can you get that wrong?
No. Because there's 3 of them out there.
A minute earlier, Liam Jones was paid a free kick in our forward 50 for a push in the back,
which was incidental.
Which he hardly even touched him. And then you go down the other end you can't be that inconsistent in adjudicating decisions. And there's a lot riding on these games.
How does it happen?
It's just ridiculous. I was filthy with that decision. I shouldn't be blaming umpires, but that Asprey that cost us a goal. And if this game had been decided by less, that would have been a big, big talking point. But
and credit to Dave Asprey because he could have absolutely gone.
I would have lost.
Oh no, you would have. Yeah.
No, you've got to get that right. That was a horrible decision. It was
despicable.
Yeah.
Despicable.
Yeah.
Speaking of despicable,
I hope Griggy stings better than this when he comes in later.
This is very therapeutic for me. It's a little bit of concentration time and. Just bringing it down a bit.
This is about the last chance for...
No, it's not. You've said that the last few have been very enlightening and you've enjoyed them.
All right, okay. Have another crack.
It's a little bit quirky, this one, all right? It's my top 10 Tigers in the workforce. My top 10 workforce Tigers, all right? So, number 1, this is just in alphabetical order.
Work.
Yeah, well, but there's a career. There's a certain special career Tigers. Okay. Number 1, I've got Ian Baker, who came over from St Kilda and played 3 games in 1980. Number 2, Ross Brewer, had 6 games in 1982, 83. Number 3, of course, Dan Butler in his first season. Number 4, Josh Caddy. Caddy's a job, isn't it? Because it's like $600,000 they can make good caddies, aren't they, per annum?
My mate's a caddy.
Yeah, there you go, full-time caddy.
PGA Tour.
Yeah. Number 5, we spoke about before, our former defender, Troy Chaplin. The chaplain, of course. Number 6 is Alan Cook, who was played 116 games in 1949 to 58 and was then chairman of selectors for many years.
Yeah, I
did. You knew him, yeah. Lovely bloke. Number 7, and we were talking about this man before, was one of the all-time great actors, a tremendous footballer too, and is in our Hall of Fame and Team of the Century, is Roger Dean. 244 games, 57 to 73. Number 8, Mitch Farmer, of course, who came over from Port, the Farmer. 28 games, 2010 to 11. Number 9 is Ian Gardner, who played 10 games from 58 to 59. And number 10, played only 5 games, kicked 5 on debut in 77, is David Miller. There you go, my top 10 workforce Tigers.
Miller? What's a Miller?
Miller is used with the mill, and you know.
I've got
you got the mill, and you're a miller. You work in the mill.
You're a millsman, wouldn't you be?
No, you're a miller.
You know what you should do next week?
The miller told his tale. And
your top 10...
Royce, I couldn't get Royce in there.
You know,
Hart, I couldn't.
You know what you should do next week? Your top 10 tiger animals.
Yeah, I've got that.
I've got my Neville Crowe.
Yeah, I've got them. I nearly went with that. Brad Fox. Robert Labb. Sorry, all right.
You've already gone for
it. No, I'll go with it next week. All right.
I will. All right. Pretty ordinary. I think we've gone through the Carlton game pretty well, haven't we?
We have.
But I might throw to Dimmer and let him say what he thought of it.
Good.
Oh, it was a frustrating game, there's no doubt. I think we had nearly 30 scoring shots and just couldn't quite get the scoreboard reward I thought we deserved. We've played better games but lost, if that makes sense. So yeah, it was good to bank the 4 points and move on. They're really hard to play against with that amount of numbers back, and yeah, so it was a frustrating game. But credit where credit's due. I thought our boys thought their way through it, and we get the 4 points. So that's a good result. They've been in some pretty good form.
Yeah, pretty well summed up. It was an ugly game. It was a grinding game.
Yeah, but I actually thought that we moved the ball really well. I thought that was the difference between the two teams.
Well, we looked likely when we got our ball movement.
And if we converted what we should have, we would have
probably
had
7 or 8 goal win, really, wasn't it?
Then it
in
would
general
have looked a bit better the game then as a spectacle.
Hey, before we do our votes, just one thing this week. We're going to talk about Port with Griggy, but one thing that is crucial this week. What is it?
Probably Koch winning the toss and kicking with the wind.
Well, he'll do.
No, I'm being stupid. I know that it's ridiculous. I know. Sorry, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's a stupid throw.
So
I reckon. Well, Robbie Gray's influence for Port.
Who do you think goes to him?
We need to negate him. Well, I reckon Grimesy could go to him.
Mate, I'd nearly play Rance on him.
Yeah,
because he plays like a key forward almost.
It's just you need to free Rancy up as much as you can, and he's so dangerous, Robbie Gray, that you just I know what you're saying.
Asprey for Big Charlie.
What do you think he'd take Charlie? I reckon Grimesy takes.
I reckon
takes
first, and if needed, Grimesy's hasn't had a goal kicked on him for weeks, but Robbie Gray's a good player.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Nullifying Riders' clean hit-outs. That's my key.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's getting real hit-outs to advantage, and when he gets them, they do score from it.
Yep.
They get really clean breaks and they score from them. So
you play an extra big bloke this week to try and give Nank a chop out? Would you?
No, I don't. I think
keep
it. Yeah, keep it.
All right.
But you just can't allow Ryder to get those really clean ones. That'd be my key to the game.
Well, not much left, but I think Ollie Wine summed it up best yesterday when he said it's going to be one in the midfield, and he reckons we bat pretty deep. I reckon they bat pretty deep as well. So I think.
Geez, Pal Pepper's been important for them. He's changed everything around.
It could be a don't argue off. So
Peter Piper picked him too.
Winning the ball in the middle, I think, is important. Thanks, trainers.
He's their recruiting bloke.
You're silly today.
I'm a bit silly.
Hey, all right, give us your votes.
I'm happy.
Give us your votes.
Happy that things are turning out well.
We're beating Carlton's here.
Yeah, no.
What are your votes?
My votes, it's a very good point because I haven't got my run sheet. No, of course, I go 3 to Dusty because he was the most influential player on the ground when it mattered. I go 2 to Rancy because with another trademark Rancy performance. And I go 1 to 2-2's own Shaun Grigg for just continually getting the ball and delivering it and just being productive.
Well done. Well, I gave 3 to Dustin Martin. 10 touches in the last quarter when it was, the game was still there to be won at 3/4 time. You never know. Carlton could have got back into it. Dusty didn't allow them to do that. He was brilliant. I gave 2 to Kane Lambert. He's a very good player, Kane Lambert.
I'm going to ask Gregor about him.
Yeah, just continues to improve. I think he's getting better and better, Kane Lambert. Plays a role, but wins plenty of the footy himself. And I gave 1 to Griggy as well. Just gets under the guard. His link, he's a smart player. He uses it well.
He's a very smart player.
Things tend to happen when Griggy's around, so I gave 1 to Shaun Grigg.
Yeah, nice. Is there a lot of pressure to give?
Well, he's just walked in. So how are you going to go with that?
I'll be sitting next to him on his shoulder.
He's talking to Roland. It's all right. You might have a 5 minutes up your sleeve.
3 to Dustin Martin. No issues there. I gave 2 to Kane Lambert, as our old friend Manfred's tweeted in. He seems to save his best footy against Carlton, if you remember. After round 1 last year.
Well, because he was
at the
Northern Blues.
I think he got 26 touches, 1 goal, 6 tackles, 5 inside 50s and 5 clearances. Sorry, Grigor. I gave 1 vote to Alex Rance.
It's all right. He's in.
He's still on.
I've just seen Griggy. He's gone no spud for you. No, he's got a couple of vouchers for me in Newtown for the spud bar.
I'm very happy
one
with
of the sweet potato ones.
Okay, the leaderboard. Look, your votes were pretty good, but you should have got Griggy in. Dustin's on 67. He's running away with this award. 42 to Alex Rance in second. 34 Koch. 20 to Rewalton Griggy, our boy. He's in the top 5 on 15. Hey, we got that stump greener still from Rhett Bartlett.
I'm going to go.
Who was the first player?
I'm going to go with Jack Titus.
Jack Titus. Is that
at
right?
At the MCG. I don't know. He hasn't given an answer.
Where's Rhett?
Oh, that's good. He's talking to Roland. Roland's crook.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's right, but you're going with Jack Titus.
Yeah. He's making Roland a cup of tea, I think.
You put a bit of ginger in that tea for Roland.
You reckon? Does it work well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go first.
Ginger in a rum would be better, but anyway, go on.
I'm going first. I said last week
Me.
The Kane Lambert would restrict Dockett in under 20 piece. We actually went to Bryce Gibbs a little bit.
Play him, so that's wrong.
I got it wrong.
That's wrong, yeah.
But, gee, Dockett, didn't... He still had plenty of it, but
who was on Dockett?
He just didn't... Just a team effort on him.
Yeah.
But
he was still as you say, but he wasn't.
I didn't think he was influential like he was. So
no,
I didn't get that one right, but I don't think Doherty had a big influence on the game.
Point.
I'm going this week. I'm saying that Nick Floston will come back in. Mm-hmm. So that's, I'm going out on a limb there.
That's brave.
I don't know.
That's brave. Playing. Bash is about to get suspended and you're thinking that he might come in.
One of the emergencies on the weekend was Markov. He could come in, but I'm saying that it will be Floston. Right. And I'm saying pretty conservative. He'll have 15 plus possessions. All right.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I like that.
I'll just go before
you. Please.
Well, last week I said Jack would have Liam Jones's measure, and they didn't play on each other as much as we would have thought. But Jack I said he would kick a goal in every quarter. Close. He didn't in the first, but he did every other quarter, and a few
close.
A few of the small blokes took
and
a
then
couple
if you take George that played on him and did well on Jones, still not.
This week I'm tempting. We don't like to tempt the footy gods. Oh boy,
no.
But we haven't done it for the last 6 weeks. I reckon we're going to kick more goals than points. The last 10 times we've been to Adelaide, 9 of them we have. So
as long as it's not 3 goals too, as long as it's not that.
Tigers to kick more goals than points.
Don't mind that.
Okay, fair enough.
That's big.
Well, I was desperately unlucky again last week. I had Tyson Stegall to come in and debut, and unfortunately the selectors saw fit not to allow that to happen. Yeah. I would almost go with him again because I actually think he is a big chance
this week
in his home state, South Australia, to play there. But
I would like to see him, but I'm not sure who goes out.
I'm not going to do that. I won't go. I'm actually going for Trent Cotchin. I thought Cotch was just a bit quieter. He had 17 touches. He still was influential, but I'm going for him to get 25 plus, be the most influential midfielder on the ground and kick multiple goals.
Oh, that's a good one.
There's a fair few layers
I
there.
like that. So we're still trying to find Rep Bartlett. He's floating around somewhere with the stump greeners, but hey, it's time. He's here.
Yes.
You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. To let the best of me.
Yes, it's VFL report time with our man Lou, and just before we get into Lou, that song's reminded me you're looking sharp. But I reckon JV's had a haircut for today's show.
Do you reckon?
Because he knows we're filming Griggy's segment after this.
It was booked in prior.
I reckon he's
sure?
I reckon he's got a bit of product in it.
I reckon he is too. He's
a little bit of
everything.
I think he wants to look good for Griggy's segment. Griggy's just over there.
Something about Mary.
Well, I will be sitting in the background looking like a stale bottle, so I may as well.
It's all about
do something.
It's all about Griggy, not you. The next segment, but anyway, it's VFL report time, and Lou, it was a good win, mate, against the Northern Blues.
Yeah, solid win. We've backed up 2 weeks in a row, and just as well, JB. I think it's a great haircut as well. I don't know what these guys are on about, but getting back to it, it was 84 points in the end that we did the Northern Blues by. And if you're following the VFL this year, you know that they're flying quite high lately. They're actually doing pretty well. So to come out and to get that kind of result was a little bit surprising, but obviously very, very welcome.
What about some of the highlights of the game?
Well, I'd probably say the big highlight and we've got footage of this on the club's website as well, so I'd recommend all fans go and take a look, is young Jack Graham kicking his first goal for the club. It was a tidy little snap, probably, maybe only 15, 20 metres out, but seeing every player from every corner of the ground flood to him, get around him, that was fantastic to see.
And Lou, what did you make of his game? Did he look ready to go? He contributed pretty well, obviously, and we're actually going to have a look at him in Coach's Corner this week with Xavier Clark, so I'll be interested in your views.
Well, speaking to X after the game, he was certainly very pleased, and it's not hard to understand why. He came into the game after the first quarter, he had that off, and then played the rest of the game there. Obviously had his goal like we saw there, 15 touches as well, playing a bit of a mix of half forward and midfield as well. So really gathered enough of the ball, I guess you'd say, to have that sort of impact. His tackling pressure was really good as well, which we know being a kind of big body midfielder like he is something that he does have to bring to the fore. Yep. So to see all that come out from him was really fantastic.
And the two-way running, because he is renowned for his two-way running.
Yeah, he is. He does. It was very noticeable, Greeners, and interesting that you brought up that he does work back a fair bit. And something that we always talk about in the VFL is that the side does build from the back, like they do attack. They start attack from defence. So obviously having players like Jack who can run back and then obviously move both ways is, really handy to have to that system.
Yep. So who would the best player have been?
The best player? Oh, there's a few of them, but it's pretty hard to go past a guy who's probably racking up a few best on grounds in the VFL, which is Anthony Miles. Yeah. He's starting to go there. It was 35 plus. So the statistic I think is still a bit up in the air, but At the end of the game, it was recorded as 38 touches he had for the day, and that spread that we always see from him: 6 marks, 9 clearances, 3 tackles, and a goal as well.
So we've won 5 VFL games.
5 and 5 we're sitting at the moment. So yeah,
he would have been best on
I
in
think
most.
he probably would have been best on in
Fair
most.
chance for a Liston there.
Little Liston medal, maybe.
Maybe, but he certainly really played well on that one again with his 35 plus. The other one who I'd say as well, Jacob Townsend with his 28 touches and 8 marks. And
he's been going well too, very consistent.
Yeah, he's been going very well. I think he was shut down a bit earlier in the game than he would have liked. I think at halftime he was sitting on about 7 disposals or so, but obviously to come out with a fire in his belly, to want to have an impact in that second half when we were starting to run away with the game, was really impressive. Jacob Ballard is the other one I'd say with his 27 touches and 4 marks, 4 clearances, 3 tackles and a goal. One of our most consistent performers at VFL level.
Hey, Nick Floston came back for his first game from a shoulder injury, and without judging what the tribunal are going to do tonight, there could be a spot off half back this week in the seniors. How did he play, and where did he play more importantly?
3 quarters he did play across half back, so that obviously bodes well. You know, obviously should we be needing to fill that void on half back against Port Adelaide, I think his name would be right in there. He finished with his 19 touches for the 3 quarters. Like I say, he played half back, and then he went forward for the last quarter. Most of we actually swapped around a fair few players, got a few guys to play in different positions, like we had Jake Batchelor, Nathan Broad go up forward for a bit. And yeah, he did end up finishing with the last goal of the day, Nick Vostone, so I certainly think he's thrown his hat into the ring for a game this week.
Yeah, you'd think he would be the one to come in. What about Tyson Stengel?
Yeah, my boy.
Because Tone,
my boy.
Tone predicted he'd be playing AFL with his yellow and blacker, but he didn't. So how did he go at VFL level?
Yeah, well, got the first goal of the day, so he started like a house on fire with a bit of a trademark snap. We're starting to see it a fair bit from him. He loves getting the ball in those tight areas in the pocket. He just always finds a way to go there. Something that X did say as well in our post-game interview, which is up on the website now, is that he feels like Tyson did eventually get... he was obviously... They went to him, they realised that he was obviously one of our danger players up in the forward half there. So he finished with 1-3 for the day, and he was held pretty well, but still managed to find a fair bit of the footy also. And we did see in that last quarter, like I say, when a lot of the players were kind of put into different positions, we saw a bit of Tyson actually playing through the midfield, got to see the cleanness of his disposal and some of his excellent decision-making as well. So I know the stats not there, but I think he's probably got a couple of score assists to his name also.
Okay.
So I still think he's certainly in contention with the way he's been playing lately.
What about the 2 Ivans in the ruck?
Yeah, that's right. We had another good performance from them. Big Ivy Marriage got his first goal of the year with a nice little snap after Millsy set him up, and that was obviously a highlight for the players as well. They got right around him there. Soldo ended up with the 8 disposals, so perhaps didn't quite get as much of the footy as he would have liked. Playing as a second ruckman, though, he did get 17 hitouts and finished with some pretty solid contested marks in the last quarter as well. So there were great signs from both of them.
A couple of other players I want to ask you about. Mabior Chol and also Jakey Batchelor's been going really well, and he went forward too, didn't he? He kicked a couple of goals.
He went forward. Now, it's worth pointing out that we did have 13 individual goal kickers from the weekend, and he ended up actually as the leading... there's a few of them there, just about half the group out there. But he finished up with his 2 goals, which was really good. A couple of really classy set shots, I would have thought. He had one from the pocket just right in front of the Swinburne centre there, and I reckon just from the way he stroked it on the left boot, he might have been practising a bit. He might have been sensing a chance to go forward a bit, because he just nailed it right through the middle. Absolutely beautiful. The other one we were talking about is Marbs. That's exactly right.
Big Cholly.
Yeah, that's right. He's got his averaging about 2 goals a game for the moment, and that's what he got. Yeah. So another 2 there. Again, I think the stat that doesn't really show is what he does to set up his teammates. He's really effective at bringing the ball to ground and letting our small forwards like Tyson and Jake Arts as well at VFL level, letting them do the work and hitting the scoreboard as well. So the way he was able to get into those contests and really help out his teammates was fantastic.
He wouldn't have been doing much ruck work, though, because obviously with the 2 Ivans...
We had the 2 Ivans there, so he pretty much stayed. The one thing I would say is that when we did start putting a few players into different positions, we actually saw a bit of Cholly off half-back, and one of the highlights was, I think he took about a 3-bounce run going off half-back in the last quarter. He got a bit of... But then on the last bounce, he kind of lost it a bit. I think he got a bit ahead of himself. But it was good to see him get a bit of versatility into his game there.
Good to see him having a run and bounce. Big blokes probably just take it easy on the bounces. It can go astray.
Yes, it can.
Lou, that's very comprehensive again. Who have we got this week? We're now in the 8.
We are in the 8 by about 4%, I think. So, and that makes this week all the more important a contest because we're playing Essendon,
again,
who are 9.
When he played him 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. We're playing, starting to see a bit of repetition rather in the fixture, but nonetheless, it is still a huge game because Essendon are 5-5 like us. We're up on them on percentage at the moment thanks to a few big wins. but we're playing them at Windy Hill at 2:10 on Saturday. So it's the winner will go into the 8 by at least a game.
Okay. It's not the televised game.
It is the televised game.
That's the other thing
I was going to say, yes.
Ooh, good lead in for
That's very
Port
good.
Adelaide game.
So you've got a big day in front of
Oh,
the
I've
box.
got a massive day there.
Lou, thank you. Mate, did you get out after the... You look a bit tired. Did you get out for a milkshake after the game?
Maybe a couple of milkshakes here and there. It was a good day. 2 wins from 2. You've got to celebrate.
Finally.
That's good. Good on you.
Good stuff, Louis.
Looks a bit dishevelled.
Oh, he does, I tell you.
Need a haircut.
Double malt on it.
Here's an opportunity for Grigg. A bounce to 50. Round to 48. Rams at home. Spin it around beautifully, Grigg. And kick a ripping goal. The half-time siren. Open goal for Grigg. Wonderful stuff.
How good is that, Griggy? You've come in with your own sting and your own opener. Welcome, mate. Good to see you.
Thank you. The only thing missing was a call from you there, Richo. I would have liked that if they could have snuck that in, but maybe next time.
It was all Brian Taylor and... Who was it? Hamish McLaughlin? Anyway.
Just as a big debut by him last week too.
A lot of feedback.
Record. Massive.
Yeah.
Massive. Royce Hart-like debut.
It was a Royce Hart-like debut. Griggy, what'd you make of the game, mate? It was one of those games where you felt like you're in control but just never quite put them away.
Yeah, it did. We did everything that we set out to do and Dimmer wanted us to do, barring probably finishing our work again. But, it's good to come away with the 4 points and a little extra special for me against the old mob.
Yeah, it would be too, yeah. Now, that finishing, obviously, it is a bit of an issue, and I know it's something, obviously, that you do work on at training, but how can you fix it during a game?
During a game it's tough. I think you just got to take confidence in the work you're doing during the week and draw on previous experiences of kicking goals and enjoying it. Everyone likes to kick a goals. No one tries to miss, obviously. No. So, it's a thing that we're working on, and if we can fix that up, it'll make it a bit easier.
At the start of the last quarter, though, when it was important, we did kick, the goals that we needed to kick then to give us that bit of a break. So it was obviously important.
Dusty on fire again, Griggy?
Yeah, he was good again. Got tagged majority of the game and probably didn't have that real influence in the first half like we're used to, but the cream came to the top in the second half and he really provided some good forward options for us and set up a couple of goals, and he was pretty good.
The ball movement out of defence to the forward line, it probably didn't result in as many goals as you would have liked, but that seemed to be a real positive out of the game.
Yeah, that was probably our main scoring source. I think we kicked 8 of our goals from the back half, which is sort of unlike us in previous weeks where we try and turn the ball over up forward. But, that's a credit to what we've been working on. And, our backs are pretty reliable down there and winning the ball back with Rancy and Dave and Grimesy and Basher running off and Shorty. So, it was good that we were able to kick goals in that way.
Yeah, Greg, you mentioned Basher. It looks like he's obviously going to have a few weeks off, so going to have to replace that run and carry this week against Port.
If he is found guilty tonight at the tribunal. We've got Nick Vlosten played in the VFL on the weekend, so if we need a replacement, I would dare say he's a pretty good one.
Greg, I just want to ask you about a player that goes under the radar a little bit, Kane Lambert. I reckon he's done some really good jobs this year.
Yeah, definitely. He sort of played a bit on Bryce Gibbs on the weekend. He's got a huge running capacity, very fit, very fast. So, he's just a competitor as well. He just, hunts around the ball in the opposition, and then, we ask him to get off and use his running ability to get forward and create some options.
Big game this week, Port Adelaide. If you had a look at them yet, you probably haven't.
Not just yet, Richo, but they've been in pretty good form. Saw on the weekend they've got some dangerous forwards, but if we play well and we'll be confident going in that we can go well.
Similar to your line of question around Kane Lambert, another player who you share a locker next to, Brandon Ellis. I feel his year has really developed, and the difference between him this year and last year has been extraordinary. And the last few weeks he's started to add the goals. How are you seeing him playing?
Yeah, he's built his season nicely. He's been more playing half back this year, so gelling in with the other guys down there, he's been really good. And they ask him to defend first and attack after that, and I think he's starting to get the balance right. He's playing well.
I thought the run and carry of Jaden Short and Connor Menadue was pretty
really
important too.
Yeah, they are. They're both building week by week. Connor's got that real pace and line breaking speed, and Shorty's got a lovely kick on him. So we'll try and get the ball in his hands.
Now, Griggy, you've come in with the sting. That was a bit of Kanye West, wasn't it?
Yeah, Kanye West. Yeah, it leads in my segment nicely.
Yeah, beautiful. Now, what are you going to bring to the table? This is it, because we need some new segments.
I've got a couple of things. So the song goes into, I'm going to turn the lights on in the locker room a bit, just give the Richmond fans a bit of an insight to what happens there. And I've got a couple of things that grinds my gears.
Right.
So grinding Grigg's gears.
Yes.
And then to finish...
Very good.
And
I
then,
like a bit of alliteration too.
yeah,
That's
I
always
thought
good,
you
yeah.
would. And then to finish with, I've got a little list, like a top 3. I'm going to change it up every week.
Okay,
So
good.
I'll get to
That's
that.
I like this.
All right, we'll get into it.
So some of the things that I've noticed around the locker room this week, after you guys wanted me to be aware and all that. So a couple of little things I saw. I saw Dustin Martin eat a whole chili.
A whole chili.
A whole chili. Shea Bolton drank 2 raw eggs. Tyson Stengel ate a tablespoon of Vegemite. And Sam Lloyd tried to turn vegan for the week.
How'd that go?
I think he lasted 2 days.
Is that right?
So
Is this for a bet? It was.
these are things that just go on day to day that I've just... As you get older, you sit back and watch these things. So, a little bit of that, and then there was a little bit of a story with Ryan Ferguson, our development coach, works with the back line. We all had a meeting in the backs room, and Ferg wasn't in there, and he had his lunch, sat there, nice, perfect sandwich, looked pretty nice, and there was a walnut right next to it for some reason, and I was next to Dustin Martin in the meeting, and the attention span of Dustin in meetings isn't great. So after about 5 minutes, he sort of nudged me and I go, "What's going on here?" And he grabbed the walnut and lifted up a piece of bread and put it in Ferg's sandwich. Had a bit of a giggle. And anyway, we forgot about it, and that night we got an email. All players got an email from Ryan Ferguson. And what's this going to be? And it was a photo of him laying back at the dentist with a couple of dentists around him with, I'm going to find out who this was and there'll be payback.
That wouldn't have been cheap either.
So anyway, Dustin gave me a call and go, "Oh no, dude, am I going to get caught? Should I give him a ring? Oh, I feel so bad. I'm going to apologise." And so I tried to get in contact with Ferg. Ferg didn't respond. Left him hanging on it, but it turns out the next day Ferg had played the trick on Dustin and had driven to the dentist just for the gag.
That's great.
That's commitment to a gag.
Yeah, that's huge.
Going to the dentist.
So that was well done by Ferg. So they're little things that I might try and bring to the table about what goes on in the locker rooms and a bit of banter.
Yeah, very good.
A couple of things that were grinding my gears this week was I noticed Connor Menadue, where very professional. We do a lot of recovery sessions, one in the morning before training, one after training, another one before we go. And Connor, he does his recovery in the morning and just leaves his wet Speedos laying on the ground.
Oh, no.
Just leaves them. Everyone else rinses them out, hangs them up so they're nice and dry after training, and then he'll just walk back in, put them straight back on. Noticed a little bit of mould growing in there. So Connor was grinding my gears with that, and he doesn't care either.
You can imagine what his bedroom would look like at home.
He's happy to cop that, so I'm not sure about that. And then another one that really gets me is we frequent the Swan Street cafes quite a bit. In between sessions or after sessions, and majority of us just stick to the conventional orders, just your latte with your smashed avocado eggs or something pretty easy. And now you've got guys down there who make it pretty difficult, like a Dustin Martin or a Todd Alton, who change the order up. They want their soy chai lattes with their salad, and they add 3 things, take 3 things out. But what grinds me is the waitresses trying to remember all these orders. It doesn't impress me that if they can remember the orders.
Just write it down.
Just write it all down, get it right.
That's it.
Because what happens, my order is the easy one, is the one that's stuffed up. And they remember the Dustin Martin soy chai lattes and everything else. So not too happy with them.
Good.
And lastly, my list for this week is the top 3 boys that are under the thumb.
I'm going to have a guess.
Can I just have some guesses?
Can I have a guess? Well, Trent Cotchin, surely.
No, he's not on the list.
He's not
on the list.
Yeah, knew he would have been if he'd still been there.
Knew he
without a doubt. He would have been definitely number 1, 2 and 3, Chris Newman. In number 3, coming in 3rd place, I've got Taylor Hunt.
Oh, really?
But I can understand this one. The boys can understand it. He's batting way above his average. So whatever he needs to do there, we're happy with that.
He's worked it out.
Number 2, we've got the Fridge Graham, Jack Graham, young boy from South Australia. He's already moved his girlfriend over. So doesn't get too much leeway there. No. And number 1... for this week is Big Ivan Marriage.
Big Ivan,
he cops it from the boys. He's he'd be a very, very good husband and someone you'd want your daughter to marry.
Right.
So very good.
Do you think Mrs. Ivy might have told him to get the mullet off?
Oh, I don't know if that's an if. I think I know for a fact. Green is
She put up with it for a while, though.
Yeah,
She did put up with it. I like that, Griggy.
That's very good.
We found out something we don't know there, Tone.
I liked it.
So
a lot.
you've started off pretty well.
I'm open to any ideas for the list as well.
Okay.
If anyone wants to write in and they want to know anything about the boys, or they want me to watch someone particular this week in the locker room.
I like it.
Beautiful.
Talking Tigers at Richmond FC.
Yeah, send the emails into JB, talkingtigers at richmondfc.com.
Can I quickly ask you too, did you go to Dimmer during the week and say you wanted to spell from the ruck position or not?
I didn't actually. They tried to throw Josh Caddy in there just to mix it up a bit. So that was just spare of the moment. I'm happy to do whatever. But
did you get some humour out of Josh Caddy nearly missing the ball? I think he nearly missed it.
It was just shown in our team meeting just about 10 minutes ago, actually. So
is that what all the laughter was?
Yeah, you could hear that.
Yeah, right.
Before we go, I read the AFL record doing some study before the game last week, and your player profile was in there. Now, I've got a couple of hours to kill going to Adelaide this week. The movie Roadhouse.
Yeah, Patrick Swayze.
89, your favourite. Yeah. Can you sell it to people who may not have seen it?
Absolute classic. Patrick Swayze, 1989, I think.
Yeah.
Roadhouse. It was my old man's favourite movie, and I remember growing up, he used to just throw it on. If Mum wasn't home or whatever,
you'd watch Roadhouse.
Yeah, Dad would just put it on for us boys.
Can't say that I've ever
good
movie. So there you go.
Some homework for us.
It is a very, very good movie.
All right, okay.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
I will, for
Griggy, awesome, mate. Good start.
Beautiful.
We'll see you next week. Right. Tone, what do you got for us?
Well,
hard to follow that.
It is very hard act to follow. Very, very hard act to follow. But okay, so it's this round 50 years ago. Okay, so it's Spirit of 67. So we're looking at Richmond played the old South Melbourne at the old Lake Oval. It's a great ground, the Lake Oval. You ever play there, Paddy, at the Lake Oval?
I think I trained there, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, great oval. Anyway,
didn't play
so
there.
it was on Saturday, July 1, 1967. Now, this same day, there was a state match on there. Remember a few weeks ago we had the Victoria-West Australia?
Yeah.
This is Victoria and South Australia, but played in Adelaide. So we lost a couple of players. So Royce wasn't available. He was playing for Victoria, and Billy Barrett was also playing for Victoria that day. South had a couple of handy players out, Bob Skilton and Max Papley. Max Papley's the grandfather of
Tommy Papley.
Tommy Papley, who plays at Sydney now. So they were both out. Your old man was injured, and Dick Clay was also out injured. So we won the game 14. So a bit like on the weekend, 14-25.
14-25.
39 shots, if you don't mind it. 109 to South, 8-9-57. Paddy Ganane came back into the side and he kicked 4 goals.
Yeah.
He'd been out for a few weeks. Johnny Swooper Northey kicked 3-5. KB 2-3. Best man on the ground was Bones Richardson. Barry Richardson kicked 2 goals, 24 disposals and 11 marks. So it was a huge game from him, and just consolidated the position up the top of the ladder then.
Beautiful.
But a couple of other things that were happening around in the world at this time, and we touched on this a few weeks ago when we had the function, the 67 Premiership function. Yeah. Well, it's actually 50 years ago today that the first automatic cash machine was installed in the office of Barclay Bank in Enfield in England.
The first ATM?
Yeah, the first ATM. It was actually voucher-based back then because there was no credit cards or anything. So
that's extraordinary, because I think I told that story that day at the lunch. My old man still couldn't use an ATM like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so 50 years he couldn't work it out in 50 years.
Yep, 50 years.
Richo has one now at his house.
Of course he does. Of course he does. Yeah, no, it's amazing. And also, like 50 years ago, I think yesterday, it was about 500 to 700 million people around the world tuned in to see the first live international satellite coverage. It was a television production called Our World, and it featured the live debut of the Beatles' song All You Need Is Love, and they actually closed the show with that. So they had a whole heap of creative artists from around the world, including opera singer Maria Callas and the great painter Pablo Picasso, and representing 19 nations were invited to perform. So it was a 2.5-hour event, and the largest television audience ever up to that date.
There you go. There you go.
Griggy, you didn't know any of that stuff.
I'm going to go and tell all that to the boys at lunch.
They'll be wrapped.
Dusty or
very impressed. Yeah. Might be able to tell a couple of these to the boys too.
See, this is just the difference between the modern man Griggy and the dinosaur. Griggy's got all his notes on his phone.
Geez, I wouldn't know how to do that. I would not know how to do that. Anyway, a couple of these. What do you call a belt with a watch on it?
What?
A waste of time. Now, A teacher asked her class what their favourite letter is, right? And a student puts his hand up and he says G. And the teacher walks over to him and asks, "Why is that, Angus?" Think about it. What did the...
I can't do this much longer.
Why? What did the judge say when a skunk walked into the courtroom?
What?
Odour in the court. Why are fish so easy to weigh? Because they have their own scales.
Oh, no.
Come on.
A quarter acre of undeveloped land may not seem like much to some people, but to me, it's a lot. And one more. I couldn't think of a great cheese pun, right? So I thought a mature one would brie better.
Oh, no.
Oh, great.
There you go, Griggy. Good luck in Adelaide, mate.
Thank you.
And we look forward to you coming in next week. That's Talking Tigers. Tune in next week. Talking Tigers at richmondfc.com.au. Send some ideas in for Griggy. We'll be back next week.
Go Tigers.